Welcome to the Boots podcast. On this episode, we're catching up with Luke, a new member of the management team, about his coaching career, the great result against Glebe at the weekend, and the upcoming games against Whitstable and Lydd. Up the boots. Good morning, Luke. Welcome to the Boots podcast.
Morning, Romana. How are you? You okay?
Yes, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Quite an enjoyable weekend, so I'm quite looking forward to the week ahead.
Yes, I can imagine. We will get into that. First of all, I wanted to ask you about your footballing career so far.
My footballing career is it sort of stopped before it started. If I'm honest with you, I'm only 25 years of age, so I've got into coaching very young. But it was off the back of an injury that stopped me playing. Essentially, the side I was playing for at the time was managed by Brennan, who's our manager now. And instead of me dropping out of football completely, he asked me to come and join his coaching team. At the time, I'd never done any coaching, sort of past the odd session here and there with youth teams. But he said, come and give it a go and see how we get on. And I've never really looked back since, in fairness.
Oh, fantastic. And how did becoming part of the first team management come about?
So again, that was with Brennan, where I'd played under Bren at Bearsted in their reserve side. Was where I first met Bren and sort of we first worked together, if you like. And then when they made the move to Ide Hill, which is where I've travelled across from, I was working underneath him again as his coach there. We built up quite a successful partnership, and obviously then Bill as well was involved. And when the opportunity with Welling came up, the guys sort of said they were going to take it and asked if I wanted to come with them. And obviously we work quite well as a three, and then we've added Kevin and with us, and that's sort of how it's all come about. I followed them, really.
And how is that partnership going?
Yeah, good. I mean, like I say, because Bill, Bren and I have worked together for sort of 2 and a bit years now, that relationship's stronger than ever. Obviously with Kevin there as well now, getting to know Kevin and better each week, it has been enjoyable. I think as a four, we gel quite well, and generally we're all on the same page. So it's all building quite nicely. It's obviously very fresh, but we're working quite hard behind the scenes to put everything in place that we can to make it successful.
Talking about successful, obviously Welling are in a precarious position in the league at the moment. What was it about Welling Town that made you think, yes, that's the team that we want to go and join?
A lot of it was from a personal point of view. A lot of it's about the challenge. If I'm honest with you, I take the precarious position on board totally. Of course, you'd be naive not to, but with an opportunity to go and step up 2 levels and test myself as a coach against some of the best in the county, it was almost a no-brainer when it came up. Despite where they are in the league, it was a case of looking at the run-ins and thinking, yeah, actually, do you know what? Even though we have only got 10, 11 games to get them out of that position, it's doable. And obviously part of that, then when Kevin and us sat down, the ideas and obviously the expansion that's coming across with Welling Town in the summer all made everything very attractive. I'm around Maidstone myself. I live that way. So with the move coming in July, it was extremely attractive to myself, and obviously just a better opportunity all round. Not discrediting Ideal, where we were in the league when we left was obviously a great position to be in, and one that I hope they continue to carry on, and if they can, pull themselves over the line with the league. But where we are now, it's a slightly different challenge, which I'm really looking forward to and enjoying being part of.
Well, you said about, it's doable with the games coming up. We'll move into Saturday's game just gone against Glebe, 1-1. And going into that game, I think most people, had they offered a draw, would have snapped your hand off for it. But possibly with them scoring right at the end, felt like more of a loss.
Yeah, mixed emotions. If I'm honest with you, I think everybody online and everyone that knew about the fixture and looked at the league table would have gone and given us no chance at all. And to be honest with you, it was a game that when we looked at our running between us, we weren't massively concerned with the result. We kind of didn't expect what we got. It was all about the performance. It was all about the reaction. Obviously, off the back of the last game with Holland and Blair, it was all about how did the team react and how would we be able to stamp our mark, if you like, on the new setup, and with some new players involved, we turned a really positive result. The game was largely dominated by Glebe. It'd be naive to sit here and say it wasn't, but we took our chance early in the game and we clung on for dear life, as teams at the bottom generally have to. And we were extremely unlucky not to come away with the result, given the circumstances. But yeah, all credit to the boys. Really, really impressive. A massive, massive change in attitude and performance from the last outing.
So can you talk us through the goal that Welling Town scored?
Yeah, we soaked up a lot of pressure from Glebe. They dominated the ball a lot through the early proceedings, and we were sort of working off of counter-attacks, which we kind of knew we'd have to do in the game. We knew we wouldn't be seeing an awful lot of the ball, and it came down the left-hand side. Perez with a great run down the line. He worked really hard. He travelled probably 50, 60 yards with the ball at his feet across into the box, and Sam Bailey on the far side coming in off the right wing, picked it up at the back post and slotted it underneath the goalkeeper for the goal. It was kind of against the run of play, if we're honest. But yeah, like I say, we took the lead and that was it. Once we had that, the belief in the boys really grew, and we carried on that momentum for the next sort of 5-10 minutes, steadied the ship, and made it to half time. And from half time onwards, once we got a chance to talk to the boys again, there was a genuine belief around the place that if we could see out the first 15-20 minutes of the second half, we could really take something from the game. Obviously, that proved to be the case, albeit it wasn't the 3 points we'd almost hoped for, but we were unfortunate in that sense. The second half, as it grew on, got a lot more nervy, should we say, especially when you're coaching, because you can't really make a difference. Glebe missed a penalty with about 15-20 minutes to go, which was a sort of warning sign. And then credit to the boys, they were resilient the whole way through. We bounced back from the penalty. We were unlucky not to score, which would have been again massively against the run of play, but probably would have put the game to bed. And then in added time in the second half, we were unfortunate. I think maybe a little bit of tired legs or just unlucky in the box. We give a foul away. They scored the penalty to take the 1-1 draw.
Did you have any views on the penalty? Did you have a good look or good angle? Did you see if they were good penalty calls?
I think the first one, the one they missed, was a penalty. The winger's done well to get outside of our fullback and just sort of left him in a position where he's gone for a ball that maybe he thought he had a chance at winning, but the ball moved too quickly and he caught the player. So that was a penalty. The second one, if I'm honest with you, was in the middle of the box. There was a lot of bodies around it. Whether it was a foul or not, I'm not going to say it wasn't. I think there was definitely contact. So in that situation, and I guess sometimes you don't get the luck of the draw. You know, it goes the other way, and in this case, it did.
So you mentioned Holland and Blair and the last game, which was a difficult watch. What was the difference? Was it the game plan going into this one? Was it the mentality of the boys? How did you bounce back so well from such a difficult loss?
A difficult watch is a very diplomatic way of describing that one, I think. But in fairness to the boys, we sat everyone down after that game and we had a good chat in the dressing room. And then, call it fortunate, call it unfortunate, we've had a couple of weeks where we haven't played. Games have been called off, games have been postponed or moved, and it's given us a chance to get on the training pitch. We brought some new faces in. Those that look at lineups and things like that will notice that Saturday's lineup was very different to the one against Holland and Blair. But with a lot of new faces, you're also facing a lot of new challenges. The boys, to their credit, got around each other. And I think, like I say, with scoring the goal halfway through the game, the belief around the boys sort of upped in a level, which meant that even though they didn't really know each other that well, they all wanted to fight for one another and they were all willing to give everything they had for the shirt, which I think, in contrast to the game with Holland and Blair, was the biggest difference. I think even though at Blair it was sort of over before it started, there was a fight and desire in this game Saturday just gone that I hadn't seen prior to now.
Yeah, it does make a difference when you manage to get that goal and get that belief, which obviously didn't come till very late on in the Holland and Blair game. You have a fixture tomorrow against Whitstable Town, who are sitting in ninth, fighting for a playoff position, a draw from the weekend. So they're going to want to bounce back and really fight. What sort of game are you expecting, and how do you plan to kind of nullify their threats?
We've had a little look at Whitstable. We're aware of what they do. They're very good at what they do. But coming to Phoenix and the Mayplace ground, it's not the nicest place to come. You know, it's a tough surface to play on. The conditions are going to suit us potentially more than them, with their home pitch being a 4G. I've no doubt they'll come ready to fight and ready to battle with us, and our boys will have to do the same. You know, we've said to our lot that it's 10, 11 cup finals from here on out. You know, it's that type of mentality they've got to take into the game. They can't afford to be off their A games, and if they are, we'll get found out for it. But there's a genuine belief about the place now that we've managed Saturday's result, that anyone who comes to us or anywhere we go, provided everybody gives 110%, we give ourselves a fighting chance. And that's pretty much the attitude we'll be taking into tomorrow. Again, it'll be another game where we don't expect to dominate the ball. We expect Whitstable to come and be very strong and very commanding, but we think we've got a good chance, if we can deal with that and soak up that pressure, that we'll get our chances. And it's just about taking them, and then when we do, making sure we shut them out.
So it's going to be a busy week because there's also Lydd at home on Saturday. Is it the same game plan going in for that one?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I say, with a side that's new and being put together as we speak, and without the opportunity to train every week, you're relying on a lot of the same things. The game plans are basic in their descriptions, but obviously everyone has a part to play. But all the while, the players are getting to know each other, and we're sort of building a side, if you like. We're looking at asking them to carry out very simple tasks. Every player on the pitch is capable of running. Every player on the pitch is capable of competing. And that doesn't require technical ability. That requires heart and desire, which, when you're at the bottom and fighting for your safety, that's the bare minimum. And we've said this to the boys from pretty much the minute after the Blair game finished. I said, from here on out, it's all about your heart and your desire and how badly you want to stay at this level. And to the boys' credit, again, through the training sessions we've had since, and through the personal work they've all been putting in, it really seems like they've got on board with that, and they've taken it to heart, and they've shown some real fight, as demonstrated Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So I'm going to ask you one other question. As we're nearing towards the end of the season, who do you think will win the league this year?
With the league the way it stands at the moment, I find it very difficult to see how Deal won't come out on top of it. Very impressive what they've been doing this season. Looking at the league table, obviously sat third at the minute, but with an awful lot of games in hand. They were unlucky in the Vars, if it wasn't last week, the week before. So they're in a good run of form. And they've been in and around that top 3 or 4 every year for the last 3 or 4 years. So I think this year could be their year. I think, again, the fact that they've got so many games in hand is a massive advantage to them, but a credit to them also. Their form in the league's very, very impressive. And rest assured, when we go down there on a Tuesday night, we will be very aware of what they're up to and what they're capable of.
Okay, Luke, lovely. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on your result at the weekend. Good luck for tomorrow and Saturday, and we will speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Romana. Take care. Speak to you soon.
Thanks.
Cheers. Bye.